Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again, both for our radio audience here in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com. We're glad that you all could be with us. Also, just tuning in through our online affiliates around the world, including our friends at iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcast. We're glad you all could be with us as well. But for those with children, I think outside of the joy of being able to have a newborn in your life, you also are concerned with making sure that you're doing all you can to make sure they grow up healthy and happy. Part of that is, of course, making sure they get what they need to eat when they need it. And that can be a question for a lot of parents, especially for a lot of ones with their first child. So we have someone to help you out today. We're excited to welcome pediatrician Dr. Whitney Casares to our program. We're going to talk to her not only about some things you all need to know about the transition from to solid food, but also where you all can get some more information to kind of help you along the way. Dr. Casares, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me today.
So this is one of those questions that's interesting. I don't have children of my own, Dr. Casares, but I've had guests actually write in about asking, different guests who've come on about this topic. So what age should parents start to kind of think about transitioning their children to solid foods?
Every single child is different, and so I always encourage parents to talk with their child's pediatrician. But generally speaking, between 4 to 6 months, that's when babies start to show signs of feeding readiness, and that can include good head control, being able to sit assisted or unassisted, being actually interested in food, and then when we give them a spoonful of food, having them actually want to swallow it versus spitting it out onto their chin. But we definitely don't want to start solid foods before 4 months of age.
Well, you bring up an interesting point then, because it's one thing for the parent to be able to be aware of those things, but what are the first steps then to kind of help the child to get ready for those new foods?
Well, first things first, I tell parents, hey, set yourself up for success, right? A hangry baby, a baby who's really hungry, a baby who's tired, they're not going to be in the mood to start solid foods. So even giving a little bit of breast milk or formula right before you give the solid food can be helpful, or mixing the two, putting a little bit of formula or breast milk into the solid food can help when you're starting out. And then the type of food that you give in the very beginning, that matters too.
Great tips for our audience to be able to be aware of. So then we have to think about then what is right for that child at that particular age. What type of foods then, Dr. Casares, do you recommend for babies when they're first tasting?
Fruits, veggies, iron-rich whole grain cereals, those are my go-tos. And I love Gerber's My First Solid Starter Kits because it includes all three of those. So for the fruits and veggies, it's really about introducing foods, exposing kids to this vast array of vegetables, of fruits, of grains, of meats, making them delight in that taste and having it be the right texture in a pureed version. My First Solid Starter Foods has 2 tubs of pureed sweet potato and 2 tubs of pureed banana. And then also it has a sachet of oatmeal cereal, which is that iron-rich cereal. And that is important. A lot of people don't know this because a baby's iron stores in their body, they actually start to deplete, to kind of diminish around 4 to 6 months. And so we have to actually give it to them in the form of solid foods. And what better way than to mix a little bit of baby cereal with some formula or breast milk and give it in a developmentally appropriate texture.
Love that. Well, we've been talking about the baby, which is important, Dr. Casares, because, of course, as you mentioned, the parents have to make sure that they're checking in with the pediatrician, making sure that they are, of course, being able to recognize their child because, as you mentioned, all children are different. But that then can put a lot of pressure on the parents. So then what do you kind of suggest for the parents out there to kind of help them as they're dealing with this whole process too?
You are absolutely right. Listen, bees and babies can both smell fear, right? So if a parent is stressed out about starting solid foods, their baby is going to be more stressed as well. Try to relax as much as possible. Start the solid foods during a time when you're going to have more bandwidth, not have to rush off to work. Maybe a weekend morning is going to work better for you. Expect to have a lot of mess expect your baby to maybe make kind of a ugh face right in the beginning as they're getting used to those tastes and new textures. And then also rely on the advice and expertise of those who have gone before you. Your pediatrician is always in your corner, but also at Gerber.com, they have 24/7 support. They say, we're awake when you're awake. They have a certified lactation consultant. They have registered dietitians and even a sleep specialist that can help parents. And they have complimentary appointments available for parents and for their babies.
Oh, great news for our audience. And Gerber.com then can kind of be their one-stop shop there for more information as well. Again, everyone, Dr. Whitney Casares has been our guest today. Dr. Casares, thank you so much for this time and for these great tips. Really appreciate you stopping by today.
You bet.
And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live, part of our News You Can Use segment here at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live, and let's go make today amazing. Take care.